Welcome back to the spot, guys. We've got our Raw and Smackdown recaps coming up for the week of what would be December 4th to I don't know.
Uh, I got
This
it right here. December 4th to December 8th.
cool, cool. All right, well, we've got Raw and Smackdown. It was a
Starting
big,
off with
it was a big Raw.
yeah, a lot happened. There's a lot of it was actually a really good Raw. Honestly, straight up between Raw and SmackDown, Raw kind of shined this week.
Yeah, I was sports entertained.
I was sports entertained.
um, but let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Raw kicked off with was it Kurt and Jason in the ring? I missed like the first 5 minutes of Raw, so I didn't see exactly how it kicked off. Was it Kurt and Jason in the ring, or was it did it kick off with
Yeah,
Roman again?
no, it kirked off. It kicked off with Kurt and Jordan in there doing the whole "I'm not injured, Dad. I'm fine. I'll prove it to you," and him being like, "No, son, because you're not actually my kid." Um, so yeah, that's how it started, and then they
Uh,
kept kind of arguing over that, and then eventually. And then basically Jordan said, "I want a chance, Dad. I want a chance." And then Roman.
yeah, so Roman comes out after Jason challenges him, and he was like, back to the line, kid. I want Joe." uh, so Joe
Laid
comes
out.
out, or Roman goes about his thing for a little bit, and then Joe comes out, and he's basically like, "All right, let's fucking go, Roman." And then Jason was, Joe said something along the lines of Jason like pretending to be a tough guy or something like that, and then Jason tried to turn her back around on Joe, and Roman's face was just like, "Dude, what are you, what are you talking about?"
What are you even doing here?
So, so it looks like Roman and Joe is going to happen tonight, and then Jason attacks Roman.
Hits him with a nice belly to belly. I
Yeah,
love Jason Gordon's suplexes.
yeah. Um, so Roman was just like, "Yeah, Joe, you're going to have to wait because I'm going after Jason now." Um,
Nah, I'm gonna kick his ass.
So that leads into Roman and Jason's match for the IC title. Joe sat at the ramp or at the stage for
Yeah,
for all of this match actually.
sitting on a chair backwards, looking like a badass.
Yeah, and it was actually a really good match.
I, I said this to you during this match. I love that Roman is using the IC Open Title Challenge to basically put people over.
Yeah, and that's
I
like
mean,
that's really good because Elias has gone from he's the guy who plays guitar to I fucking love Elias.
he is about to have a babyface breakout.
Yeah,
Like I can, he's more of a dick than him is gonna turn on him, and then he's gonna have a good babyface run.
yep, and it's gonna be fantastic. Anyway, the match is going on, and I noticed during the match that like Jason's knee is supposed to be messed up, but his tape ends like right at his thigh before his like before it even gets to the bend of his knee.
I know, yeah, yeah, I know that too. Like you're not even doing anything for him.
Like I was watching that and I was like, I I don't think that's going to help your knee there. But I think everybody at this point knows he's not actually like even in kayfabe he's not actually injured. Um,
Well, there was one spot. There's just one spot I wanted to talk about in this match that I don't know why, but I loved it. Um, Rowan went for a Superman punch, and Jordan blocked it with a drop kick, and it was so just both of them just timed it so perfectly, and it looked like I don't know. It was great. It stuck out in my mind.
yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah, the match ends with a spear.
Yeah. Well, it ends with so Jordan hit a Northern Lights suplex and
Yeah,
then rolled through into another bridging one. And then Jason gets up and goes for a back suplex, but Reigns just rolls straight through it into a spear.
yeah. So Roman
Reigns,
retains. I think everybody thought that was going to be the case there. So
yeah,
after Joe is like, "All right, I'm going to come fucking choke you out now," and so Jason's like selling. He may have still been in the ring.
I think he was.
Yeah. So Jason's selling in the corner, and then Roman or Joe locks in the coquina clutch on Roman, and then Jason comes up and attacks Joe, in which that's probably the worst decision Jason Jordan has ever made in his entire life.
Because right afterwards, Roman comes in and Superman punches the shit out of
Yeah.
him.
Um, but yeah, it was a solid match. Set up Jason for being the complete fucking dumbass that he actually is.
Yeah.
But yeah, solid match. Roman retained. Jason looked good. But good God, his character is just so unbearable.
It's just it's terrible. It's so boring. He's literally like a generic creator wrestler off of like 2K.
Yeah, yeah. More and more, I think every day if they had just chosen Chad Gable instead of Jason Jordan, how much better this would have been.
Chad Gable's a fucking star in the waiting, and
Yeah.
they're just yeah.
Was there a segment between this and the next match?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They got into a backstage segment. Kurt is doing his terrible "I'm on the phone" voice. And then Jason comes up and demands a match, and Kurt's like, "Hey, who the fuck are you demanding a match from me?" And all of a sudden, Samoa Joe attacks, beats the shit out of Jason, and Kurt's like, "Well, maybe I'll give you a match against Samoa Ho or whatever." And then they cut away to talk about Absolution, which is still the worst name ever. And then when they come back, they head into Paige versus Sasha Banks.
And yeah, this was basically, it was Sasha with Bailey and Mickey at ringside. Alexa was on commentary again, which I like. I don't know where they're going with that by having her on commentary for all these matches.
Yeah, I don't know. She's not really good on commentary.
Yeah. And then it was Paige with, oh God.
It's the Rampage.
Paige with her minions at ringside. Dude, I forgot their name.
Oh, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville.
There you go. Those two.
Yeah.
It was an okay match from what I remember. I wasn't really like too into it.
Yeah.
It was there.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah. But it basically boils down to Mickey and Bailey get attacked at ringside. Sasha's like, "Hey, what the fuck's going on out here?" And then she turns around into a rampage from Paige. Paige wins. And then they do absolution things. It's so boring.
I'm already over Absolution. I just let Paige go be a single.
Or just like
No,
leave again and come back and not stick her tongue out in every single thing she ever does.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's like now that she knows that everyone thinks that she's sexual, she's like overly trying to do it.
Yeah, it's just annoying.
But then they cut to a backstage segment. Kurt's doing his terrible "I'm on the phone" voice again. And Elias walks up and tells Kurt to put his phone away and hold his applause until he's done. And Kurt's like, what the fuck you want? And he says he wants another shot at Roman. Tells Angle that he's playing favorites all the time and that the City of Angels wants to walk with Elias. But since there's no good opponents left, a musical performance is all they're going to get. And so we set up for Elias to come back in and give the concert of the year here in a little bit.
Which I'm always down for.
Yep. They cut to commercial. One more backstage segment with Enzo addressing the Zoe train.
Oh, this is so awkward.
Yeah, talking about how Tony Nese and Drew Gulak have the opportunity of a lifetime night and never sees it. Yes, Noam Dar and Arya Daivari realize that they let Rich Swann beat them last week. And they're all a direct reflection of him. He's a winner and not a loser. It's at this point during this that I said to you that Drew Gulak was going to win because Drew Gulak is God.
He is.
We'll see.
Future 10-time Hall of Famer.
10-time Hall of Famer. They do this weird thing though where they have Nia Jax come in and look at Enzo and smile at him and go, "How you doing?" I'm really just hoping this isn't a romantic angle and they're actually setting up for Nia Jax to come in and win the Cruiserweight title because that would be great.
Oh my God, I'd fucking kill myself.
I would be through the roof happy if they did that because just fuck the cruiserweights, let that Jack win.
Oh my god. Um, but yeah, that sets up the fatal four way for the. It's a fatal four way that's going to lead to a number one contenders match, correct? It's not going to be a
Yes.
triple threat at wherever they're deciding to do this.
No, it's gonna be a number one contenders match this week on Raw.
Okay. Um, but it's Drew Gulak, Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander, and Tony Abs. Um,
Mm-mm-mm.
good match. I mean, these fatal four way matches have been really fucking good,
They really have been, and the crowds have actually been like decently into them, which is cool.
except last week.
Um, well, because the city that they were in, and we won't name it, is just not known for their great crowds.
Yeah. Well, we touched on that as well on the last episode, but
Yeah,
yeah,
Knoxville crowds suck.
yeah. But yeah, it was a really good match. I'm a little embarrassed to admit that I missed most of it because the Grizzlies were up by 5 in the fourth quarter, and we were on a losing streak. So
Oh yeah.
I switched channels and I missed most of this match.
Oh well,
My
you missed
apologies.
Mustafa. You missed Mustafa Ali hit like at least two nice Spanish flies. One was a running Spanish fly. Another one was a springboard Spanish fly. Um, Everyone was just kind of hitting their fit sorry their finishers on who did they pin? I'm trying to remember who it was that ended up taking it.
I
Um,
think it was
I think
Ali.
it was Ali, yes, because Mustafa Ali gets hit with a he gets hit with a lumbar check, and then Gulak comes in, kicks Cedric. Okay, so he kicks Cedric, and Cedric barely moves, and then realizes he's supposed to roll out of the ring, and then just flops really hard away, and it was so bad. But then Gulak comes in, hits a lateral press, and wins to go into that number one contenders match. I'm really hoping this is Drew Gulak's babyface turn. He's going to beat Cedric Alexander next week and take that cruiserweight title from Enzo.
Oh, that would get me to start watching 205 live, honestly.
Dude, I Drew Gulak is a guy.
He's
But
just
then
so he's just so great.
after that, they set up Elias walking backstage to come out to begin his concert.
Concerto. But it actually
Um,
happened because I was still watching the Grizzlies game at this point.
yeah, he comes out and does his usual shtick. Um, Tells everyone in that crowd that they're not famous, even though they live in LA. So, um, and then all of a sudden, Braun comes out, and yeah, they decide that they're going to do a match, I guess. And I don't really know if the bell ever rung.
No, it never did.
I think Braun just kind of came out and just beat the shit out of him.
Elias got
Which
a nice guitar smack onto Braun's back, which he completely no-sold.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, Elias got a little bit of offense, but yeah, and then Braun just destroyed him. Um, but then they advertised that next week it's going to be Kane and Braun again.
I don't know where
Uh,
they're going with that.
they're just going to keep putting Braun over all the big guys until they give him the world title sometime in the middle of 2018.
Hopefully it just happens at Mania, and they're like, Roman, you know what? You're actually a really good IC champ. We're gonna let you hold that for a while.
Dude, I mean, I'd be cool with that. I'd be cool with Braun. Just have Braun win the Royal Rumble. He's like, all right, now I'm really ready to. You're just saying that because you want Shinsuke and AJ. I'm not saying it
You are
won't
correct.
happen.
You are correct. But I think that's the only way that they will have Shinsuke and AJ is if Shinsuke wins the Rumble.
Yeah,
I have
I'm
no
also.
faith in their creative abilities to write a story that involves Shinsuke and AJ without Shinsuke winning the Royal Rumble.
No, I don't either. I don't either because then they can just be like, it was fate.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's a story for SmackDown. Um,
Off
backstage
track.
segment. Backstage segment with the Shield. Dean and Seth are like, yeah, we're gonna win the titles tonight. and we're all gonna be champions, and it's gonna be great. Um, and then Asuka is announced to be in action after the break.
Oh, and let me tell you something, brother. Nobody's ready for Oscar, brother.
Outside of Ronda Rousey, brother,
God damn it.
which they're setting it up now because Asuka and Alicia Fox faced off, and she won with the cross arm bar, just setting up even more. That's going to be the arm bar versus the arm bar.
Why can't she just go back to UFC and get her ass beat by Holly Holm again? Or, like,
Yeah, I don't
anybody?
know because I think they're still mad about the whole Brock Lesnar ruining the UFC thing, so they want Ronda Rousey to ruin the WWE now.
I'm just.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm over it, and she's not even here yet, or whatever.
Yeah. But after the Asuka Alicia Fox match, Absolution comes out again and does the same segment that they did on last week.
Hee hee, we're gonna kick your ass. No, we're not.
So pointless.
Yeah.
But that leads into maybe the biggest segment of all of Raw, if I'm not mistaken,
What?
which was Wyatt and Woken Matt.
Nope, not yet.
Not yet? Dad, God damn it, man. I just want to talk about that. That's all I want to talk about.
You got one match right in the middle of that matters more than anything. A
Fuck.
match of the century. A match of two former NXT champions. Something that we have wanted to see for years. Bo Dallas and Finn Balor.
Oh my god, I didn't even write this down. I forgot about it.
It happened. Finn Balor won with a coup de grace. And then immediately after commentary is like, we've heard that Matt Hardy has woken up.
Oh
And
man.
then,
It was so good. It was delightful.
yeah. We cut to the end. Well, you can recap it if you like. It's
Yeah. So basically, it starts. Bray is talking. What he's talking about, I still haven't figured out. I don't think anyone ever knows what he's talking about. He just says words in a very strange backwoods way, and it, I don't know, works for him. But yeah, Bray's talking about some shit, and then there's fucking Woken Matt and all his brilliance,
in the coat,
all of his delightfulness.
wearing the beautiful coat of battle.
It's just, I can't believe it's happening.
Matt's promo. I've been waiting to hear him do this shit in the WWE, and it's just amazing. He literally, I have the direct quote pulled up just because I loved it so much. He says he studied at the Library of Alexandria, fought alongside Genghis Khan, taught symposiums with Plato, and goes on and on about his years of history of learning from the greatest minds in the world. I love him. He's God.
But yeah, he cut a broken slash woken Matt Hardy promo, and it was everything you could have ever wished for. He sentences Bray to deletion. Bray talks more, and then Bray starts laughing. It cuts back to Matt, and he's he's doing his like weird shit.
His laugh.
Yeah, and then it cuts back to Bray, and he's still laughing. And then it cuts back to Matt, and he's still laughing. And, oh my god!
It just goes back and forth like
Yeah.
that. They could have done that for 10 minutes, and I would have watched it.
It would have been the best 10 minutes of either episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. I mean, the broken Matt gimmick was so good that it like got me back into watching TNA, if that means anything.
True.
Which I don't watch it now, but
Yeah, no, I don't either because why the fuck would you? I mean, EC3 though was a big draw I hear, so that could be a thing.
eh,
Never.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah, moving ahead, I'll let you take the reins there because I'm missing backstage segments and matches in a whole. So
well, actually, all they did next was they had the bar and the shield for the main event in what was a really really long but really good match.
Until the finish.
Until the finish, which right before it happened, I told you that if the Shield didn't win, I was going to be pissed. So, I was pretty pissed.
Well, they won the first match, kinda.
Yeah, by disqualification. The gist of the match was, I mean, it was a really good match. Um, Eventually, Sheamus just starts beating the shit out of Dean on the rope and on the apron. The ref keeps warning him. The ref eventually DQs him. When they do that shit in the WWE, I know I'm getting heated here, but when you have a referee stop a match because of like violence in the WWE, it just makes me mad. Like, especially if it's in a title match. Like, that by doing that, that team has no chance to win it. You just took complete control of the match. I hate that finish.
Yep. You better watch out, Vince. You got heat from Alex. You catching heat, brother.
And I'm sure Vince listens to our podcast, because why wouldn't he? So I hope that he takes my foot off. It just, every time they do it, it just makes me, it takes me out of it. But then, of course, Kurt Angle appears and says, "No, not in my house." And then he's like, we're going to restart it. And it's going to be no DQ because there's no way that's going to go wrong. And
so it goes wrong.
Well, I actually didn't know it went wrong because I turned it off before Kurt came back out because I assumed the match was over and I went to bed. And then I actually found out the next day when I was reading online that, no, the bar, they restarted it. No DQ. They come back in, chair shenanigans, and then all of a sudden Samoa Joe runs in, hits Seth, beats up Ambrose. Then Roman Reigns comes in, evens the odds, and then eventually, even still, Brogue kick. Sheamus tosses Cesaro onto Ambrose, and the bar win by 10.
Yep. And what is the next Raw pay-per-view?
Royal Rumble.
Really?
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
So we've got Clash of Champions coming up in, I believe, 2 or 3 weeks. And then we have Royal Rumble and then Elimination Chamber. I want to say there's going to be another one in between there.
Roadblock. Are they still doing Roadblock?
No, they didn't last year.
Let me pull up the,
Pay-per-view
excuse
schedule.
my keyboard clanking, but let me pull up the pay-per-view schedule. Okay, no, there isn't a show before. Oh, yeah, there is. There he is. Good God. Fastlane.
Yeah, that's it. When is Fastlane before? Now, is Fastlane SmackDown?
Elimination Chamber is Raw. Fastlane is SmackDown. So yeah.
So I'm guessing because did SmackDown or Raw have a pay-per-view right before Survivor Series?
Let me go back and look through my notes. Because I actually have a list of pay-per-views written down. Was it No Mercy?
Yeah, okay.
No Mercy, which was Raw.
Yeah, okay. That's probably why SmackDown has this like extra one now.
Yeah.
Yeah. On to SmackDown.
Well, before we get to SmackDown, I want to talk about the main event of Raw. I think that this is going to set up a 6-man tag at the Royal Rumble with Roman, or with the Shield versus Cesaro and Joe in a winner-take-all match.
That would be... I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I think that's what's going to happen. And that'll still line up with my prediction of Joe taking the IC title off Roman at the Royal Rumble.
Exactly. I mean, if you have one of the tag guys take the fall and have Ambrose take the fall or some shit like that, Roman can lose the title. Then Roman can begin his program with Bork, and
that keeps him from entering the Rumble, because lately they haven't really included. Because I remember, like, when I was a kid, if you had a match on the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, there was still a good chance that you were going to be in the Royal Rumble match.
Yeah.
But now it seems like they've strayed away from that, where it's like, oh, you had a match already, you can't be in the Rumble. I mean, they've
Well,
let
last year
a
they had
few guys in, but
Roman came in last year, even though he already had a match at the Rumble.
yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like the majority of it
Yeah, they
is
don't do
if
it quite as
you've
much as they used to.
yeah. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, go ahead and
But
run
I
into
just
SmackDown, and I'll have to sit the majority of this out. I do have a few things that I do want to talk about from SmackDown, but I didn't get to watch SmackDown. I had to work, so I'll let you take the reins over.
SmackDown was kind of a it wasn't really anything big happened too much. Start off with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens coming out there. Owens comes out and says that per usual, this is the Sami and Kevin show, and the rest can blow them. In that he doesn't have a vendetta against the McMahon family, but that the McMahon family has a vendetta against them, and he knows what it's in that there are other superstars who know what it's like for the McMahon family to have a vendetta against them. Just ask Daniel Bryan or Bret Hart or Stone Cold, because they're the exact same as them. Sami gets on the mic and Sami just starts with his usual absolute snarky attitude shit that I love. Um, and he says that the only problem with Shane is that he tries to make up for all of his shortcomings, and it's hard to trust a man who's just blinded so much by all of his shortcomings. Shane comes out and says that they need to both watch their words more carefully, and sorry, I got that backwards. Shane comes out, says he doesn't have a vendetta against them. He has a vendetta against anyone who treats SmackDown the way that they do, and that Sami replies that maybe Shane should choose his words more carefully, and he should have a better understanding of what ringside actually is, which was pretty funny, because once again, Shane should. It's his own damn fault for saying, "Oh, Sammy's banned from ringside," but it's no DQ. But whatever. WWE writing. And then all of a sudden, this great Randy comes out, hits an RKO out of nowhere on Kevin in the ring. They cut to it perfectly. They almost missed the shot a little bit, but it was awesome. But then Shane says that tonight it's going to be Sami versus Randy, with Kevin chained to the rope on ringside. And then that at Clash of Champions, it's going to be Sami and Kevin versus Randy and a partner of his choosing. Up next, commentary starts hyping up Baron Corbin and Bobby Roode for later, and New Day versus Aiden English and Rusev. Good opening segment. Shane McMahon, Kevin Owens feud still going on. I'm still kind of curious as to what the payoff to this is going to be. I assume it's going to be Shane and Triple H, but they also seem like they might be teasing Triple H and Braun, so yeah, I don't really know what they're going to do with that. But go to commercial, come back, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are freaking out. Owens says he can't even turn his neck and he's hurting because of the RKO he took. Says he doesn't even know what happens. Owens says it's against the Geneva Convention or something along those lines for being chained to ringside. Typically being the funniest guy in the room, like at all times. Going to New Day versus Rusev Day, which I love that they are actually just calling Aiden English and Rusev Day. And Rusev Day surprisingly takes the pinfall. Rusev wins with a thrust kick. I don't really know why, but whatever. So yeah, Rusev Day gets the surprise win. Mojo Rawley comes out and is using this really weird accent that I didn't understand. But says if anybody's got a problem with me doing what I did to Ryder, take it up with me. Which I assume, I don't know if you've seen it online, but Rob Gronkowski has been like, "Hey, fuck you, Mojo, for attacking Ryder." So,
Yeah, I saw that.
I assume they're setting up that match, which that should be Atrocious.
Yeah, it should be
Cool.
hot garbage.
Yeah, probably happen at Mania. I hope Gronkowski somehow wins.
Same.
Uh, Back from commercial, we find out that the tag match is going to now at Clash of Champions is now going to be a fatal 4-way with Rusev Day being added to it, which is just amazing because Rusev Day is everything. Got to a backstage segment of all the women because every time SmackDown does anything with the women, it has to involve all of them at once. And Daniel Bryan is telling them that they all need to calm down and that they're actually all going to be involved in the title match at Clash of Champions because it's going to be Charlotte versus Natalya in a lumberjack match. So, that's gonna be fun. But tonight is yeah, that'll be friggin' amazing. Go to the locker room. Bobby Roode and Baron Corbin are backstage talking about how why the fuck has Dolph Ziggler been added to our match? Because now, mathematically speaking, our chances go down by a third. I hate when they do that with these like fatal 4-way and like triple threat matches. Like, shut the fuck up.
Their chances drastically go down.
And then of course Dolph Ziggler rolls up, and Dolph Ziggler's the only one who has any common sense out of the three of them, and goes, actually no, both of your odds just dropped to 0, which was pretty great.
Rip.
Dolph is like just gone back to being a heel, and like I'm fine with it. He's not doing his weird no entrance thing anymore. He's just being a heel, and he was wearing a camo hat, which is just
Yeah, I did see that. I saw that, and I was like, what?
it was just a no fucks given kind of thing.
The no entrance thing, he did do that on the dark match at SmackDown last week.
Did he really?
Yes.
Well, this week he interfered during the Baron Corbin and Bobby Roode match, and his music played afterwards.
Okay.
So I don't know what they're doing with that.
Hopefully they drop it because it was just weird.
Bobby Roode can cut promos, but Bobby Roode cannot cut a backstage promo. He is so unorganic, and not only that, he is so tiny. He is like, he's dwarfed by Ziggler. Like, it was bad.
It's so weird.
Up next was the Bludgeon Brothers versus two jobbers. Bludgeon Brothers win with their awesome crucifix powerbomb. Not much to say here.
The bludgeon. We're calling it the bludgeon until they officially start calling it the bludgeon. Or the bludgeoning. Or bludgeoned.
The bludgeoneer. So, Sammy, cut to a backstage segment. Sammy and Kevin decide they need to go talk to Daniel Bryan about the handcuffing things, and they think that he'll agree with them. Spoiler alert, he doesn't. Up next is Baron Corbin and Bobby Roode. This was a typical match. Ziggler's on commentary talking shit. Ziggler's also doing this thing where he's talking about how great he is and talking about how everyone who gets to be around him is like special. And I do like that. It's a little bit different than what he's been doing. He kept just saying over and over, "You do realize I'm a world champion, right?" And kept rubbing it in, and I was like, "Yeah, man, that's what you need to do. Put yourself over. Remind people how great you are." And then all of a sudden, Ziggler runs in, hops up, zigzag on Roode. Bobby Roode wins by disqualification. Hits another zigzag on Corbin, and his music plays, and he stands tall.
Okay, before we move on,
mm-hmm.
I don't want Baron to drop the U.S. title, but if Dolph is the one who takes the title off of him, I'm okay with that. I'll accept it.
See, I think that's kind of what I was thinking, where if you maybe just have Bobby take the pin, I would love for Ziggler to be the U.S. champion. Just switch which heel you have it on.
Because when I say that, I don't mean that I have an issue with Bobby, but Bobby doesn't have to win the title right now. Like, he's already over. He's over, and he's gonna be over. Like, he can take the title whenever he wants. But if you have him take the title off Baron right now, while Baron's just now starting to like gain some traction and get his wheels rolling, it would just kill all the momentum he has.
See, and I feel like Bobby's one of those guys that doesn't need a title until he wins the WWE title.
Yeah. Yeah.
But up next is Charlotte and Tamina. Tamina is like the most boring wrestler on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
She is just awful. Charlotte won with the figure eight. Um, so afterwards, Natalia gets on the mic and says that Charlotte should enjoy her last taste of victory because after this, she's getting her title back. Da 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 da. Then the Riot Squad comes out. Ruby Riot gets on the mic, um, tells Natalia to shut up and hold on, and that for once she actually does agree with her, and that they should give the beloved champion a preview of what's going to happen next. Um, but we actually don't really get like the full on fight. Like Tamina kind of jumps onto Sarah Logan, and we kind of get more of like a Tamina, Natalia, Charlotte versus the Riot Squad kind of thing going on. But they kind of get pulled apart before anything big happens. Backstage, Sammy and Kevin roll up. We're like, "Hey, Daniel, man, this sucks. I don't want to be embarrassed like this." And Daniel's like, "Hey, man, I don't blame him. You kind of suck." Um, and then has a security guard roll up with the handcuffs to take him back out for the match and handcuff him to the ring. Commentary gives us a reminder of all the Clash of Champions stuff. I think I figured out what their point is with Clash of Champions. It's going to be a whole lot of multi-man matches because it's a clash of all of them because they're all champions. Yeah. Don't you like whenever you get? Don't you like whenever you get deep WWE booking? But we come back. Kevin Owens is handcuffed to the bottom rope. We get Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn. Well, it was actually a pretty good match. Randy Orton can have a good match with anybody, I feel like. I feel like guys like Randy and Roman and Triple H who get like 8 moves down that they can do great can have good matches with anybody.
Randy gets shit on a lot for being boring, which is fair. He's a boring face, but like, name one bad match he's had.
The reason he's boring as a face is because his moveset is a very heel moveset.
Yeah, he has a lot of stomps and punches and a lot of ground attacks.
Like even his scoop slam is a very like powerful, mean move.
Yeah, and it like has a cockiness to it if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Even the RKO is a pretty like heel finisher.
Oh yeah, I mean it's out of nowhere. It's very But eventually, Zayn gets the bolt cutters out from under the ring, cuts his friend free. Doesn't really help though because we get a superplex. Orton hits a superplex on Sami Zayn, but Owens has cut himself free, runs in, but gets hit with a rope hung DDT. Zayn tries to help, but gets caught with another rope hung DDT. Then gets distracted by Kevin. He goes for a schoolboy pin and almost gets it. RKO attempt denied. He runs up for the haluva kick, and then Randy Orton actually wins with a schoolboy by dodging the haluva kick. So no RKO win there. Owens comes in, attacks Randy from behind. They both start beating the shit out of Randy, and then Shinsuke makes the save. They run in, bam, bam. Shinsuke clears house. Kinshasa. And then they cut backstage to Bryan and Shane, where they ask if McMahon is done punishing them, and Shane says he's just now warming up because he's actually going to be the special guest referee at Clash of Champions. And if Owens and Zayn lose, they're fired, not just from SmackDown, but all of WWE. So it really sucks that Randy or Shinsuke is going to get pinned at Clash of Champions, but yeah.
Bold prediction. That's gonna be Daniel's return to in-ring action.
Yep. That's why I could see that.
Because Shane is like getting this big ego fucking. Well, like you said when like Cammy, holy fuck, that's what we have to call Sammy and Kevin now. They're Cammy.
Oh, I love it.
But what Kevin said at the beginning of SmackDown when he said that he doesn't have an issue or he doesn't have a vendetta with the McMahons have a vendetta with him. That's true. Like, that is 100% true. Like,
Oh yeah.
Shane's issue with Kevin should have ended after Hell in a Cell, but he's managed to, like, keep it going
Keep
for
it
absolutely no reason because Kevin has done nothing to Shane since Hell in a Cell, and
No,
Shane is
Kevin's just tried
still
to live
all
his life.
over him.
No, Kevin's just tried to live his life, and Shane is just on a power trip, and he's a little bitch.
And Daniel realizes that. Daniel's going to come out when Shane's about to screw Kevin and Sammy out of the match and be like, hold on a minute.
And beat the shit out of him. And then, although I really don't want Daniel Bryan versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, but whatever. Maybe they'll do it at the Royal Rumble. Maybe they'll have Bryan return at Royal Rumble, and then we'll get a better match at Mania.
Whichever way it happens.
I don't know. Regardless, Daniel Bryan's going to come back in 2018. Book it, folks.
Or maybe Daniel Bryan will get his wife Bree to come in and beat the shit out of Shane.
Baby, they won't stop picking on me.
I can't do nothing. You gotta help me.
Can't do nothing about it. Noticeably absent outside of like a short little promo was AJ Styles and Jinder Mahal, the WWE champion and
The number one contender.
Yeah. I think they just want us to forget that thing exists until after the whole gender thing is officially done with.
Yeah.
I don't really get how you can justify having an episode of your show and not even bringing up your channel.
It's real weird. It's really weird. But Raw does it every week, so.
Yeah, but Raw can do it because everyone knows that Bork isn't going to be around.
It's fair enough.
Like, I'm cool with Raw doing it. Like, I'm sorry, AJ isn't allowed to do that. AJ is there all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you, but.
Yeah. But yeah.
That's the show, brother.
That's the show. That was this week. NXT did have an episode this week. Not too much happened on it. I think it was still more of like a post takeover recap show.
This week is the big episode of NXT because it's the one
This
on
is the
USA, and it's Alistair versus Gargano.
No, Alistair versus Adam Cole.
Adam Cole. Ooh, I like that one better.
I do too, because Adam Cole needs to go ahead and get on big time TV because both of them do. Those are two guys that can get on main roster and just boom from there.
So, if you want to see the Takeover New Orleans main event for the NXT title, watch NXT this Wednesday on USA.
Basically.
That's still what I'm riding with.
Honestly, though, long-term booking, I am too. Because have you read the NXT spoilers? I won't spoil anything that happens.
Yes, I have read. Yeah, I've read them. Yeah.
Yeah, and even despite what me and you have talked about wanting to happen, I still think that the NXT or the Takeover New Orleans main event is going to be Alistair and Adam Cole.
Yeah. But once that episode of NXT airs, we'll talk about it more on here.
Yeah, we'll do a big. We'll do a big recap next week because next week we've got a Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and Tribute to the Troops.
Yeah, and I don't expect nothing really massive to happen on Tribute to the Troops, but it's wrestling.
No, but it's always really fun. And, they've been doing some weird random shit lately. We might get some crazy title change we aren't expecting.
Yeah, could happen. I think they've already recorded it, though, so if it did happen, we would have already heard about it.
I forgot about that, yeah. True.
But before we close the show out, I do want to bring something up that's been... I've had a lot of people ask me this question lately, and by a lot, I mean like a few people. A few people have asked me like why we do the podcast. We don't get a lot of listeners and blah blah blah. Number one reason, I enjoy doing it. I know you enjoy doing it. It's like the highlight of our week every week.
Yeah.
But number two, and this may even be a bigger reason than number one for me at least. I know how it is. Like Blue. Sometimes he can't catch Raw and Smackdown. He has a busy life. He lives a busy life. He works. He has a kid,
Yeah.
if someone can't catch Raw and SmackDown, I want them to at least be able to know what happened. So if we can help like 2 people keep up with wrestling by listening to our podcast, listening to us bullshit,
Exactly.
and just be generally stupid, then that's like I've already achieved what I wanted to do with this podcast. I don't care that we don't get hundreds of listeners and all that, blah blah blah. It's nothing to me. I don't really care.
It's being able to help people find out what happened in WWE in 1 hour of their day.
Yeah.
And they, I mean, we really do condense 5 hours of content into an hour.
Yeah. And because I've been there where I haven't been able to watch Raw or SmackDown for like months at a time, or like just miss fucking 7 shows or something, and I'm just unable to catch up, and then I watch the pay-per-view and I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
So if I can help like 2 people, 1 person, if I can help anybody keep up with wrestling in any way, that's all that really matters to me. Because wrestling is my passion. It's like the number 1 thing in my life.
Yeah, me too.
It's what I look forward to every week. I look forward to every pay-per-view.
Well, that's why I do it. Is just because it's putting effort and work into something that I actually care about and that I actually enjoy and that I actually want to talk to people about.
Yeah, and it doesn't take any time out of our day because we're just recording what we would already be talking about in the first place.
Yep, exactly. I mean, that's how this started, was us talking to each other while watching pay-per-views and being like, we could just record a podcast while doing this.
Yeah.
We could make a podcast of us just bullshitting, talking about wrestling and everything else.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of bullshitting about wrestling, our next episode is going to be a very fun one.
It'll be the debut of our retro pay-per-view reviews. We're bringing Dylan, a.k.a. Big Country, a.k.a. 3D, and I forgot what 3D stands for, but I'm sure he'll clarify it for us. But yeah, tomorrow we're going to record, or we're going to rewatch and review One Night Stand 2006. It's one of my favorite pay-per-views.
It is my personal favorite pay-per-view of all time.
Yeah.
I love everything about it.
Yep.
So
that'll be a good way to kick it off. And we did have a couple suggestions. We had, well, Chase was just fucking with us, but I'm still going to do them so I can torture myself.
We're gonna do December to Dismember. We're gonna do it.
God damn it. I'm so not excited.
That's what we should do. This first one will be One Night Stand 2006, because we can get a good representation of a great ECW pay-per-view. And then we can watch December to Dismember and see what that era of ECW turned into.
And then my buddy Derek, shout out to Derek if he's listening. I doubt he is because he doesn't even actually watch wrestling, I don't think. But he suggested Survivor Series 2002, which in my opinion is the best Survivor Series to ever happen.
Was that the first Elimination Chamber match?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I love that one.
Yeah.
I love that, even though Shawn Michaels' hair and pants are
yeah, that was rough. But it was a really good pay-per-view.
yeah, awesome pay-per-view.
So yeah, we'll get the reels rolling on that. We'll get that episode out tomorrow, hopefully.
And then one more episode that we're currently working on is we're going to do a Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. But it's not going to be just a straightforward one. We're going to have a couple of different variations on it.
Yeah, and I'm going to call out Edge and Christian right now because they stole my incentive for winning the Survivor Series pay-per-view idea.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why we're doing the Mount Rushmore, because if they're stealing my idea, I'm stealing theirs. So we know that one out of those like 20 viewers we get every week, one of them's got to be Adam Copeland or Jay.
Yeah, and if either of them are listening right now, fuck you for stealing our idea for the winner of Survivor Series to main event WrestleMania. But whatever. It's fine. We're booking geniuses. But that's all I think we've got this week for you.
Yep, that'll be it. We're going to sign off. Relax. Get the One Night Stand review up tomorrow.
Yep, have One Night Stand up tomorrow and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yeah, thanks for listening, brother.
Brother.
All right, peace.
Peace.